Welcome one, welcome all to the Arcanic Archives. I am, of course, the Archivist, and we're back at it with Kano in Classic Constructed, trying to get in some practice for both RTN season as well as Battle-Hardened Philadelphia, which I'll be competing at with my lovely wife, the Data Darling. Unfortunately, no Data Doll in CC. Curse you, James White. But Kano, of course, is still here and still slinging spells. Now, not all that much has changed for Kano amidst heavy hitters time, except our new edition, Aether Arc. I'm very conflicted about this card. Like, it's going to be a 3 of in every Kano deck going forward, but it's like the most safe card they could have printed. You know, I want something like a little more boundary breaking, sort of like how Brainstorm is a whole other archetype for Kano, albeit not all that viable at the moment. However, it is a different archetype nonetheless. And, like, sure, you can generate some Ponder tokens, and Ponder tokens are really powerful. I like that we have another way to generate Ponder tokens besides Seer Stone. Seer Stone. I have theory crafted so many builds, and none of them are good. Seer Stone is just... Don't play it. Don't play Seer Stone. Which is the orb from Dynasty, for anyone wondering. If they made a one-handed orb and a wand combo, that's another story. But we can generate Ponders via this and now and also Swell Tidings. We're not playing Swell Tidings at the moment, but that's like the 61st through 63rd card that I'd like to add to the deck. Were I to have the space for it. But anyways, also for UPF fans, this along with Chain Lightning are the only cards that can deal damage to each opposing hero, so that's kind of fun. But anyways, we're doing basically the same thing that we've been doing, which is throwing a pile of Aether Spindles at our opponents to get information about our deck, and then trying to roll into all of our power cards like Sonic Boom, the Tomes, Aether Wildfire, the usual. In the sideboard, we have 2 Aether Darts for Dromai, also a Nourishing Emptiness, good against Illusionist. If you want to be risky, I say risky because, it's a Kano miss, but you can bring this in against Assassin and Ranger to try to get some value off of their Codex of Frailties. I don't know. I like knowing that every card in my deck is a non-attack, so I don't typically do that, but in certain matchups, Nourishing Emptiness is very good. We also have Fate Foreseen, Oasis, and Sink Below for if we want to shift over to a pitch stacking plan. I think this is the only chance we have at beating KO in particular. Certain builds of Bolton, also the pitch stacking plan is okay against Rhinar, but Intimidate makes it tough. But matchups where you expect, like, against Vincent, I would probably do this too, just because they have so much onboard damage prevention. So you essentially bring in these 9 damage prevention and defensive cards, take out Lesson in Lava, Aether Flare, and maybe, like, Blue Singe and 1 yellow Spindle, something like that, to have... well, you get Lesson out so you don't have to shuffle your deck and screw up your pitch stack. And then you just try to set up a godly pitch stack with as many Wildfires, Blazings, Lessons, Tomes, followed by 2 blues, obviously, that sort of thing. And then we also have, of course, Alluvion and Waning Moon for our, as a tip of the hat to our Kano compatriots, and of course, Spring Tunic for those pitch stacking matchups. But typically we want Spellfire Cloak just for the consistency. So anyways, that's what we're up to today. Get some practice in with Kano in CC, and I'll be back in a bit with the wrap-up. There's basically no hope. Alright, let's try to redeem ourselves against Katsu. We'll go second. This is not the same person. Okay. I'm tempted to try the pitch stacking plan, but also, like, we can just try to do what we did last game, which isn't going to happen with this hand. But they are on AB0. Yeah, so the last game we played against Katsu, which I'm probably not going to show, we never really found anything good, and they had AB3, and took us down to 15 on turn 1. It was like actually 3 red 100 wins in a row, which is just very funny. Yeah, we don't care. Should have just passed all. Yeah, so we're going to just take whatever they throw at us. Although we'd like some of these cards to be blues. Although we can sit on the Sonic Boom. It's a good thing to play out on our turn, especially if they're on AB0. Sonic Boom it gets that much better. Mugenshi. Mugenshi no go again. So if they hit with this, they can find Lord of Wind, which isn't good at this stage of the game, I don't think. But they also don't have go again. Unless they break Breeze Rider, which... If you want to do that, go for it. Also get the Mask trigger. Don't often see... Oh, I was afraid of Mask of Momentum for no reason. It's just like every time I see a ninja, I'm like, all right, gotta block attack number 3. See if they do any tutoring or masking. Or nothing. They do nothing. Right, Gaze the Ages. That is kind of not good here. Do we keep the spindle, or do we just... Yeah, let's keep the spindle. And find a card we can't play. So we will banish this. And we will just play the Gaze as a just straight up opt 2. Double Lesson in Lava. We will keep 1. So not dealing any damage is pretty bad, but it's not the end of the world in an AB0 matchup. Yeah, so let's just Crucible Spindle. All right. Find everything we could want and more. So we can draw 3 blues and then boom into Wildfire. Or it's technically better if we just Kano the Wildfire off. Okay, so let's top the... So we want to draw the blues, and then... Oh, I did that backwards. Whoops. Okay. So we want... Boom, Wildfire, draw the blues. Ouch. Okay. So now we pass Arsenal Lesson. And now we just kill them, right? We were at 24, so we'll just let them play out whatever they have. Yeah, I mean, I've seen AB1 Katsu, AB2 Katsu, occasionally, but not frequently, AB3 Katsu, but AB0 is a bold choice. Excuse me. So they might be going for a Dishonor here. Can they find with Mask? I mean, they can find Dishonor. Yeah, okay. Okay, so they're just going all in on the Dishonor combo this turn. Which, I mean, fair. So I can discard the Fist for the Gust Wave, I guess? Or for a Gust Wave card, yeah. So we have 12, 13 resources. But we can do Wildfire, Boom, set up Boom into Blazing, or Wildfire, Boom, Lesson, Boom into Blazing. Like, I don't want to say we're 100% because I frequently screw things up, but this looks pretty good from the Wizard side of the table. Especially, well, they can do the Bonds and the Dishonor for free, right? And Dishonor is in Banish Zone. Okay, so they have, well, it actually doesn't matter if they have any resource floating. Guess they could have Oasis, because there's always that. Alright, so they're going to do another Flusterfist. Because Dishonor is, like, very generously worded. It doesn't have to be, well, you just have to control the 3 things. It doesn't necessarily have to be Okay, so now we pass. Activate Kano. So here's our fire. Here's our boom. So we have 6, 7 resource. We need 4, 5, 6, really. So I'm not sure we can like add to the wildfire. I mean, if we crucible the wildfire, like, are we gonna get a ragamuffin with this? Probably not. So let's. Four, 5, 6. Well, if we're gonna boom into the blazing, we don't need to Kano it. So I think we're safe to, at the very least, crucible the wildfire. So there's wildfire for 5. So now we can break this, whatever. Activate Striders. Play the lesson. So we need 2 resources for boom. So, so we cannot afford the Metacarpus actually. Go away. Here's the big old boom for 8. Banish Blazing Aether. Blazing for 26. All right. I think I thought too hard about that. Like, sometimes, like, you know, their last card theoretically could have been Oasis. It always could be Oasis, but we thought too hard about that, I think. So that was a, well, if Blazing's dealing 26, what, 52 damage? That's pretty good. Because we did Wildfire for 5, and then Lesson for 8, Boom for 8. Yeah, so 5, 16, 21, yeah, 26. 26 and 26. Or, sorry, 21 and then Blazing 21 plus 5. Okay. So actually it was 52, it was 47 damage combo turn. I'm trying to be a little better about doing the math even when I don't have to, just so I know, I guess. Anyways, getting a little rambly at this point, but that was pretty cut and dry as far as Kano games go. So this could be tough. Illusionist is traditionally pretty tough. So we can go through the pitch stacking plan, or we can just try to turbo them down. I don't know. Let's try to turbo, I guess. Again, we are very unfamiliar. We're going to bring in the One of Fun of Nourishing Emptiness. Just because it's cheeky. Alright, so they're on AB2, Spell Void 2. Be interesting to see what Prism is like with the Luminaris. Okay, so they... Interesting, they pitched 2 blues to play Genesis. And Pierce Reality. Okay, so they're just going full setup. Which actually is pretty interesting for us. Ooh, nice. Okay, so we can do this lesson in Lava. They can AB 2, but we can still deal 2 if we Crucible. Which we will do to ensure... I almost want to Kano in response to this so that we can tutor Wildfire We are going to Kano in response to this. Because I want to grab a Wildfire for next turn. Okay, find an E-Pot. That's fine. Let's play out that guy. And then we will Kano again. Find a Prognosticate. Let's just send that in on top of the lesson. Okay, so finding that energy potion was pretty nice. So they take the Prognosticate, and I assume they'll AB2 on the lesson. Do they crack the Spell Void? They don't. That's fortunate. So we can find our BFF Aether Wildfire and draw that for next turn. Or, I mean, we're going to draw it, slam it in Arsenal, and hope for the best. Alright, so we got these guys. I don't really know what we do with this. I think I'm at 2 Ponders generated lifetime with Aether Arc. Ooh, Nourishing Emptiness. Oh, man. So it's like, yeah, we can play the energy potion, but it's almost funnier to just send in the Nourishing Emptiness and have a 5-card hand. It's also like, do we send in the Nourishing at the Genesis? I mean, because this does get them extra cards and let them refill their hand. And generate special shields. But also, having a 5-card hand, I think is too tempting. So I'm going to Kano. See what we find. A 1-cost is literally the best thing we could have hoped for. So we will banish it. Let's play it. No Crucible, so we can keep this Nourishing Emptiness. See if they take any of it. I think we're probably just going to get Blazing. Oh, so they take 1, pitching a 2nd Genesis. So we'll tutor the Blazing Aether. So that still begs the question. Do we shoot the Nourishing Emptiness face or at Genesis? Oh, it's probably... Let's just send it face. Nourishing Emptiness, like, it's here mostly to pop, but also it's just really good to play, especially in this scenario. And they're not going to block at all, so we will happily just hit. We'll move to end. Stack the dart, I guess. Arsenal this guy, and draw a 5-card hand. Okay, so I do put a Light Illusionist card into Sol. We are fairly well equipped to just try to brute force this Wildfire. Ooh, they play Tome of Divinity. Okay. Is this like the, quote, combo build? Okay, so they're going to draw 3 here. Yeah, I think this is... Okay. So we're going to activate Kano. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 resource, which is pretty great. I think we'll just Kano once and see what we get before we try to Wildfire. Singe is kind of a low roll, but we'll take it. Then let's do Big Boy Wildfire. Just gotta get some cards out of hand. All right. So Metacarpus. We're going to do it. All right, so they could prevent, I mean, could prevent a lot here. But if they crack the Spell Void, that's fine, because then they can't, assuming like we don't kill them right here. They are down to 22. We should not forget that. All right, so they had a yellow. And they break the Spell Void. So we only deal 1 technically because of this. This says we dealt 2, but it doesn't factor in the ward. So we deal 1, which is pretty bad. So we can singe for... So it's like, what, we play the Singe and Metacarpus. Let's Ragamuffin now. Find Emeritus Scolding. We know we're going to put this on top. So we have... So we're going to Kano, so we can get that blazing. And then we can technically Kano 1 more time. Hoping for, I don't know, another blazing Aether Arc. Second Wildfire is very interesting. So unfortunately that means we lose the Singe, but it offers more damage. Total, so we can't afford that. So what, we'll deal 4, and we're just blazing for only 10. All right, so this is interesting. Now we kind of just F6 and let them do their thing. So we're down all of our equipment, but we are at 30 life. So we'll see what happens. With what figments they find if they try to awaken some angels. Okay, so this is the Banished to Draw 2/1. Okay, so they're just going big Herald damage. Good for them. Okay, so they can get a second figment. That's not a once per turn. Yeah, so with this matchup, like, we can try to do this crazy turbo plan, or yeah, if we were able to play, like, if that Singe was a 0 cost, they'd be dead. So that is kind of the lowest of low rolls. I mean, another 2 cost probably wouldn't have helped our case, so I guess we can do Tome, blue, Spindle, Potion, whatever. Yeah, so it's like, do we go the pitch stacking route? But I don't know, they can set up so much. So we're hoping for 4 blues. We do not get it. All right, so they can almost certainly put out 14 damage. They get another Spectral Shield off this Genesis, although thankfully they can't attack with the Spectral Shields ever. That's how this Luminoris works. Okay. So, we'll block with the tomes, and we'll pray that we can sit on these just to do something on our turn. So they've used their Herald Go Again attack. So they could have an Angel Go Again. That looks like what they're going to do. So they're going to probably Angel Go Again and then send another Herald, so I don't think we're going to get to keep both these cards. Okay, and unfortunately they get the 2 Spectral Shields one. So this is pretty over, I'm almost certain. So we can just take this, and then they have another Herald for 7. So we can't even, yeah, we have to block both so we don't die. Yeah, this is pretty over. So, I don't know. I'm not sure we do anything differently there. But again, because we found that second Wildfire, if that Singe was literally anything else. Right, so Dorinthea, it's pretty straightforward. We don't need to change anything about our deck. Because if they're on AB3, they have to sacrifice a bunch of their good equipment to do so. And if they're not, okay, ooh. It's not what I would have expected. AB3 Dynamo, not AB3. Ooh. Nourishing Emptiness, very nice. There's no way we can block that, so we're just going to send some stuff. Ooh, Tome. See how much damage we can squeeze out on this turn. Oh, the other Tome? Okay. Let's keep the good times rolling. And we keep finding more blues. Yeah. So if they can get the Nourishing Emptiness turn 0, we can get the double tome gaze plan. Here's a Wildfire and an Arc, which Arc is actually like an awesome hit here. So we want both of these. Going to do the Wildfire now, mostly because we know we have this Flare. Yeah. So this is an awesome baby combo. So we're not going to use our Metacarpus, but we are going to use our Crucible. So we're going to Crucible the Wildfire for 5. Well, I mean, they can prevent 3 if they have a blue. They had a yellow. Okay. You can actually go 1 card deeper. Oh, and find a red flare. That is big. Well, I mean, it's 2 more damage, I guess. A 0 cost would have been better there. But now we can do a humongous Aether Arc for 10. Woohoo! And get a Ponder. Yeah, so you can have your Nourishing Emptiness hit. I will gladly take 6 and give you an extra card in exchange for 19 of your life. Alright, so we want boom, into probably Flare, into Arc, I guess, and then the rest of these don't really matter. All right, let's see another Wildfire. Okay, another a lesson. Okay. So, I guess we can try to play the rest of this game somewhat conservatively. But I think it's probably correct to just do Crucible Lesson. They have enough cards that... Okay, I guess they don't. Have we removed their Will to Live? So here it's like, do we get Red Spindle and fire it? Or do we get, like, Third Tome? Or we can Sonic Boom and hope for the best. But also they can just AB3 Sonic Boom, so that's not very good. I think let's get the Third Tome. Tome's been treating us well this game. Oh, we do have a Ponder token, don't forget. So it's actually possible that I did forget the Ponder token. That's more for me than it is for anyone watching this. So it's possible that we should have gone for the Spindle for consistency's sake. All right, here's a Voltic Bolt. Yeah, I guess we'll send it off. That's not very exciting, but I mean, damage is damage here. Yeah, I think we did remove their Will to Live. All right, so let's move to end. So we find Lesson, so that's a better arsenal than Spindle. So Ponder token coming in clutch, and we find a bunch of blues. So it's not... Okay, so they just slam another Goblet of Blood Run Wine. Those cards are pretty good, I think, the drink cards from heavy hitters. All right, so we are just literally going to take whatever they throw at us, because it is possible that we can just fire this from Arsenal, find something, and then kill them. But also, like, if they don't force us to do that, we are happy to just play the Spindle on our turn. Okay, so that gives them a copper every time it hits, but only buffs once. I wonder if Dorinthea's out here on cash-in. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to try to throw all of our cards into whatever they have. All right, so let's Spindle for 4. They do AB3. We find Red Spindle, which is pretty nice. And actually, we can just do that right now. Big old pile of Aether Spindles. Do they give us another card? If they don't, then we just get to opt 4. Okay, we get to opt 1, and it's Sonic Boom. Then we're going to bottom that. We'd rather find a Blazing or just blues to fuel a combo. Alright, so we're getting a Sonic Boom no matter what, apparently. This has to go again from the Agility. Agility tokens are also super strong. You don't need me to tell you that. Okay, there's nothing they have that could... Ooh, they pitched a red. There's nothing they have that could pump by 8. Okay, we just pass here. So now the question is, do we Kano and hope we find something off the flare? Or to go with the flare? I think that is typically pretty good. What's a Tome of Findle? That's fine in any case. So let's do this again. Spindle, nice. So yeah, so we are going to Crucible, Spindle, and then we can, or Crucible Flare, and then play the Spindle for extra damage, opt. Oh, if they're pitching, okay, so they pitch red and yellow, take 1, and we will Spindle, pitch the Boom for 5. We have to opt 5, I mean... Yeah, we don't... I mean, okay, so they concede. So we got really lucky on our first turn. That's for certain. But yeah, so here we could have drawn a bunch of blues and then known about the Blazing on top of our deck and do like Lesson Blazing, but from the life total they went. So what did we learn about Kano in CC today? Firstly, that Illusionist is still difficult. But that Prism matchup, I think, was super interesting because we found a second Wildfire, but if that Singe that we found was a 0 cost, like anything, Aether Arc, Progno, Aether Dart, whatever, that would have been just enough damage to get in over the line. But, you know, you get some lucky hits and you also get some unlucky hits. Curse you, Blue Singe. But also, the games against Katsu and Dorinthea were pretty straightforward. Nothing too boundary breaking, just typical arcane shenanigans, although I did enjoy our first turn against Dorinthea, finding 2 tomes, being able to deal, I think, 19 damage. That doesn't always happen turn 0. In fact, that is the sort of highest point of what we can expect from a turn 0. And then the Katsu game was interesting, but that's also just what probably happens a lot of the time if you don't run Arcane Barrier. And we also had the chance to find all of our combo pieces to do our perfect, like, Wildfire, Lesson, Boom, into the Blazing that we found off the Lesson. That's just delicious. So anyways, thank you for visiting the archives with us today. If you're interested in more Kano content, please like and subscribe. The typical YouTube things do actually help. Everybody says it, and then people watching the videos are like, yeah, what does my subscription actually do? But it actually is very motivating, both for me personally, as well as motivates the algorithm to recommend our videos to more people. So anyways, thank you all very much for visiting the archives. I have been the Archivist, and we will see you for your next research appointment.